Good morning, my friends, and welcome to Letchworth State Park here in Western New York. Letchworth, voted the #1 state park in America in 2025. We are here at the Great Bend Overlook, 550 feet above this amazing canyon known as the Grand Canyon of the East. And we are at the highest point in the canyon, 550 feet above. It's 7:20 in the morning. I'm just waiting for the sun to come up beyond some clouds, and we're going to begin a 10-mile hike I'm calling the Letchworth Super Loop. We'll be using several trails here, hitting many of the major features of the park. You're not going to find this hike on all trails or anywhere else because it's a custom route we've created here ourselves. So I'm excited, I'm ready to go. The sun is just starting to come up, and let's go hit that trail. It's gonna be one of the great hikes we've ever done. So today's date is September 30th. We are in the beginning of fall, and there is some color here and there on the trees. I was talking to a local yesterday, and they're having drought conditions up here, just like we are down in Pennsylvania. So everything's really dry, and the colors are a bit muted, but hopefully we will see some pockets of fall color along the gorge trail here. But there's also a lot of evergreen trees too, so it's a really beautiful mix of trees. Here's a beautiful, iconic look into the canyon, and you can see the sheerness and the ruggedness of it. And this is why they call it the Grand Canyon of the East. It's not the steepest, it's not the deepest canyon, but it may be one of the steepest. Just absolutely amazing. So we're coming into a bit of a popular area now. This overlook has got plenty of room for cars to pull off, and the early morning risers are coming out to take pictures and look at the view. But yeah, so we're going to start hearing some traffic noise and things. Like I said, this trail does run along the road in places like this one here, but that's the trade-off for a place like this. So we have left the archery field overlook, and we are now walking in this beautiful, beautiful forest of tall trees. And our next main point of interest is going to be the first of the 3 major waterfalls here, known as Lower Falls. We're continuing along down towards Lower Falls in a very peaceful section of the trail, easy hiking. And Letchworth State Park here, 14,300 acres and growing, and it spans a length of 17 miles along the canyon here, along the Genesee River. Now, we can't possibly cover all of the things there are to see and do on this hike. So my goal is just to do this 10-mile loop and see as much as we can. But there's just an incredible amount of history, dating back to the Native American times, to the pioneer times, and even the man himself who the park is named after, William Letchworth, who was a Quaker, and he helped protect and create this park, which I believe was incorporated in 1910. So just a lot going on here in this amazing place. So we have made it down to the very large parking area for Lower Falls, and beyond this parking lot will be about another third of a mile, and then we'll be down at river level and we can check out Lower Falls. So we've now made it to the Lower Falls Trail, which is a spur off the Gorge Trail. And we're going to take this down to the Stone Arch Bridge, which was constructed by the CCC in 1935. It's the only way across the gorge in the entire span of the park. Just a truly stunning location down here at the Stone Arch Bridge. Down here at river level, inside the canyon. Unbelievable. back on the gorge trail now, and we came up a really steep section to a view of the waterfall from above, but we're going to be climbing for a little bit now and getting back up on top of this rim of the canyon. So I'm going to put the camera down because I'm out of breath. We're back underneath a nice canopy of forest. Trail's leveled off a bit, and right on the rim of the canyon again, and we got a bench here, so I'm going to sit down. One of the personal touches I really like about this park is they have all of these benches at the overlooks and scenic spots, and it says "Time with Sisters makes the sun shine brighter," dedicated by Carol Crowell Dolphin. Hiking through a giant mature hemlock forest on the rim of one of the most dramatic canyons in the eastern United States. You think I'm happy? Yeah, I'm happy. So we've come to a location here now known as Inspiration Point, and we're going to get our first view down the canyon towards Middle Falls at 107 feet, the largest waterfall here in the park and one of the most impressive in New York. This is a pretty popular, pretty awesome spot here. Beautiful spot there, and we can now hear the waterfall, the power of it, echoing down through the valley. And it's now 10:15, so been hiking for over 3 hours and only made about 3 miles. I guess that's my average, a mile an hour when you're stopping every couple seconds to film. It's amazing locations, but still got a long way to go and lots to see. One of the most dramatic shots of the canyon, and if you can see those tall pines, we were under those pines not very long ago, but we're going to be heading downhill now, and we're going to be heading towards the Glen Iris Inn, the Letchworth Museum, and Middle Falls. So we're going to get to the real popular tourist area now. All right, we are coming down to the Glen Iris Inn and Middle Falls. We can hear it, and it's not even flowing at its typical strength because of the drought, but it's still just an amazing waterfall to see. And I am just smiling ear to ear because it is so beautiful out. The sky is so blue and the weather is perfect, and just a blessing to be alive today and to be here. And I'm just glad you're here with me, so I'm just happy. This is a hotel and a restaurant. There's also a gift shop in there, a snack bar. Beautiful, beautiful old building. It's got some real character to it. At an impressive 107 feet tall, Middle Falls is the most popular attraction within Letchworth State Park and makes a great location for observing the various hot air balloons that can be seen traveling above the canyon. Well, I don't think I need to say too much about that. Epic. Pictures, videos speak for themselves. Just a fascinating, just an incredible spot. That's it. So the one thing I'll say about all three of these waterfalls, as impressive as they are, you can only get but so close to them. And it's really hard to get an up close, direct shot. But this right here is probably the single best view head on. And this is Upper Falls. Again, that amazing train bridge on top. But that is just an iconic view here at Letchworth. We're back in the shade of the forest now. And how about catching that train? Right as we were going past the bridge, that train came by. That was incredible. But I'm enjoying the shade here. And we're now officially heading back towards the truck. But we'll be taking a bunch of side trails and, like I said, making our own way. We're walking through a large plantation of trees, and you can tell it's a plantation because they're planted in rows. And on the main road of the park, you can see all these signs saying where they planted different plots of different trees. You know, mixed evergreens here, red pine there, white oak here, etc., etc. Just really quiet and really peaceful back here. It's like we're almost in a different park. And just beyond the hill there and down in the gorge is all the where everything's happening, but really quiet back here. Nice relaxing hike. There are some really beautiful, big and healthy hemlock trees back here along this trail. So I'm really glad I decided to make this into a loop and not just retrace my steps along the gorge trail. As great as it is, it definitely shows you another side of things here at Letchworth. And look at this scenic view here on the Letchworth Super Loop. Hey, like I said, guys, I made this up. So, you know, still, I think it was an awesome loop, don't you? I mean, so we came out to this little supply yard in the park. That's okay. One more little short little trail that's going to like parallel a road, like one of these side roads, and then we're going to be back on the gorge trail. All right, so we have made it back to Archery Field Overlook, and big field here. The wind's been picking up a little bit. I think we're having a cold front moving in tonight. Tomorrow is going to finally start feeling like fall, I think. So from this point, we're going to be retracing our steps on the gorge trail. So I'm not going to do any more talking to the camera. I might film a few more shots, and then I'm going to head back to camp. And then I think tonight at camp, when I set up the campfire, I'll give you my thoughts overall on the hike itself, and then more generally on Letchworth State Park, with this being my first time here. we are back at camp. We have completed the Letchworth Super Loop. And as I promised, I'm going to give you my thoughts on the trail that we created. So now it's important to note that the Gorge Trail itself, with the main trail in the park, runs for 7 miles through the park. So it starts at one end at Upper Falls where the railroad bridge is, and then it continues beyond the point where we started for about another, I don't know, mile, maybe 2 miles. But I had to start somewhere. I didn't want to go more than like 10 miles. So you could continue down the Gorge Trail further if you liked. But I'm just going to say in terms of what we did here today. We start out with those amazing views at sunrise, looking out over the canyon. I don't think the camera picked it up as well as I would have liked. I think my pictures came out better than the video, but tremendous way to start. I mean, just mind-blowing views, unique, I think, to the eastern United States. I'm not sure if there's another canyon like that. 550 feet, sheer vertical cliffs, and you go through past one view after another after another. Now, the main viewing places where the cars pull off and everyone looks and all, they're cool, but there's also along the trail sections where the trail pulls away from the road and you have these little like window views or little openings that seem like more private and more intimate, and I actually enjoyed them much better. So the views were great. We then went down towards Lower Falls. That's the first waterfall we came across. That's where the stone bridge was going across the Genesee River. Now that area was my personal favorite area, going down to river level, being inside the canyon, looking up, the architecture of the bridge. That spot is just really awesome. I really like that spot. If you're going to come to Letchworth, you should check that place out. It's worth going down to see it. The hardest part of the hike was climbing out of Lower Falls. We had to climb back up a very steep trail. But then once we got up there, it was a beautiful section of trail right along the edge of the cliff. We went through a hemlock forest. I mean, borderline old growth forest, just beautiful, tall, healthy trees, and you're right on the rim of the canyon, and you just constant views looking down over the canyon. We then reached Inspiration Point, a very famous area. That's a popular area. That's the first point where the river bends, and you can look down the river, and you can see Middle Falls, the largest waterfall, 107 feet, and then all the way to Upper Falls, which is where the railroad bridge is. So that section from Inspiration Point down to the railroad bridge, that's where it's really touristy, and that's where like 90% of the people seem to congregate in the whole entire park. And again, it's just nice views. There's some historic buildings along the area. There's some that I wasn't able to film, but I did take pictures of. Dropped down to the Glen Iris Inn, which is a hotel and restaurant, and it was the residence of William Letchworth, the person who the park is named after, who basically created the park. Middle Falls is right there, and it's just jaw-droppingly beautiful waterfall. You can get pretty close to it. Not as close as I would like, but you know, for safety reasons, they have to keep everyone inside of a certain like stone wall, which is a nice aesthetic. It's better than like some kind of like fence or something. That runs along much of the Gorge Trail. So Middle Falls is amazing. Then a hop, skip, and a jump past that is Upper Falls. And how about our fortune of getting to see a train going over the iconic bridge just as we were crossing there. So again, this is where all the people are going to be. You have to accept that in a park like this. You're not going to have ever get one of those attractions to yourself. Other parts of the park are completely empty, but that's that. Second half of the hike was much more quieter. It was just like a really, really peaceful walk in the woods. Trees here haven't really, some have started to change just a little bit, but not as much as I had hoped. All of the side streams are running dry because they're in a drought here in New York, just like in Pennsylvania, just like all over the eastern United States. Forest was very dry. But it was a beautiful, peaceful walk. Lots of like large pines and just big old trees back in there. So that was a nice like standard hike. The mileage for the hike, that was supposed to be, all trails figured it at 9.8, about 10 miles. I didn't feel like I did 10 miles by the time I got back to the car. I felt like I had done maybe like 7 to 8. So I'm not sure if the terrain was just like a little bit easier than what I expected, or I don't know what, but sometimes there is a discrepancy with all trails. But We were not, were we able to see everything that we wanted to see on the loop? No. Did I see most of what I wanted to see while I was here at the park? I had basically 3 days here. Yeah, most of it, but not all of it. I didn't get to see anything on the western other side of the canyon, and I really didn't go up north either, where there's a dam, and I think that's like Army Corps of Engineers. I don't know how interesting that would be scenery-wise. But as far as my thoughts on Letchworth State Park itself, is it the best state park in America? You know, of course that's a debate that will no one can answer that. It's subjective. It's an opinion. I can see why it's ranked up there, though. I can see why it's certainly a contender. I mean, absolutely beautiful park, very clean. They have everything here. They have playgrounds. They have museums. They have old buildings. They have beautiful forests, trees, the canyon. They have the one thing that you have to have really elite status as a state park. They have a true like really spectacular point of interest, and that's that gorge with those 3 major waterfalls. I saw lots of park personnel like cleaning the place, and everything was really nice, and a lot of like nice little touches, like all the benches along all the trails, at all the nice scenic spots where you can sit. So yeah, I loved it. I mean, it ranks up there to me with the best state parks in Pennsylvania that I've been to. You know, Cook Forest, Ohio Pile, and Ricketts Glen. They're my top 3, of course. I put it right in there. You know, it's definitely in the ranking with those parks for sure. And I can see why some people would consider it better. It's not, but here's what I want to say about the main thing about Letchworth. It's a park designed, I think, more for auto touring than actual like hiking. The road system, it's just the kind of park where you want to you tend to like drive to the site, get out for a couple minutes, look, take some pictures, and go to the next site, and go to the next site. You're always going to have people around. You're always going to have cars around, and you have to accept that as part of the deal of being there. So for me, I maybe like a little bit more of an intimate, like nature-y park, where it's maybe a little more less people around, but you know, that's how it works. So yeah, that's about I guess my final thoughts on Letchworth State Park. Awesome, had a great time with my mom again. I'm sorry it's over already, but we're heading back to Pennsylvania tomorrow morning. So yeah, back to life, back to reality. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. If you have any comments or questions, let me know down below. I will get back to you as soon as I can. You know that. And that's about it, guys. I thank you and I appreciate you. And until next time, I'll see you on the trail. Gator out.